I am here. I am so excited. It is the first live I've done on YouTube in a while. Sorry if it's a little crooked. I'm improvising today at not my house. But I just want to say, first of all, thank you for taking the time to join me. I'm thrilled that you're here. And yesterday was my birthday, and I partied like it was my birthday. I went to a saltwater pool with my family. It was absolutely amazing. And I can hardly believe what I'm about to tell you. I am 64 years strong. 64 years strong. What the heck? I remember back in the day, looking ahead to the year 2000, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be 40 by the year 2000. I'll be so old. Heck to the no. I feel so strong. I feel like I'm just getting started. I'm being completely candid and honest with you in this video when I tell you I've never felt so good. I feel ready for anything. Cognitively, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It's amazing. So I'm really glad you're here because I want to tell you some of the things I wish I had known 30 years ago. And since I am not 34, but 64 instead, I thought, well, I can tell my friends who are 30-something things that you can do today to invest in your health. One thing I've been thinking about lately is how people talk about invest in generational wealth. Like make sure the next generation isn't lacking things. Do your best to invest wisely and to give an inheritance to your family. What if you invested in generational health? What if you were so healthy that your family caught on to it too, and your children were all about the health hacks that you take on, and then their children would be too? Like, isn't this a beautiful vision? Wouldn't you love that for yourself? I know I would. So that's what I'm doing. I am trying to empower you so that you can invest and create generational health so that you are your best you today. And that is the best you for tomorrow and also for your children and for their children's children. I mean, it can go on and on and on. So instead of investing just in generational wealth, I want to invite you to invest in generational health. And so today I want to tell you how it all started out for me. Some of you may know the story. I had a shaky start. I was born with a hole in my heart, so a birth defect. I was afraid to exercise, to do anything too strenuous. I didn't know if my heart would give way. Long story short, I had open heart surgery at the tender age of 9. And after that happened, I thought, okay, number one, I want to stay out of a hospital if at all possible, because I had gone in and out of the hospital with all kinds of procedures, catheterizations, studies, x-rays to make sure my heart was going to be okay before and after the surgery. So I was like, okay, I want to keep hospitals far from me. And then I thought, okay, the best way to do that is to stay as strong and as healthy as possible without having to resort to the hospital. And then I also wanted to thank God because I knew his hand was on me. My birth defect could have been so much worse than it was. So I'm thankful to say that the surgeon's skill and God's hand on me protected me, and I was able to get over the surgery. And then I started to think about how to live my healthiest life, but I didn't really know how to go about it. So I decided to, at first, just exercise. I thought it doesn't matter what you eat, just exercise to stay strong. And that was good as far as it went. And to be honest with you, if you looked at me back in the day, 30 years ago, you'd be like, man, Hilda's in great shape. I did feel good for the most part, but there's so much I know now that I didn't know then that I think could have brought me from good to amazing, to incredible, to unbelievable. You know, there are levels. So I don't think we should settle for, yeah, I feel pretty good, or yeah, I'm kind of fatigued, but that's normal. Let me tell you something. Just because something is common doesn't mean it's normal. And pretty good is okay, but don't you want to feel better than okay? I know I do. So the things that I've learned in recent years through my travels around the world, through my own research, I became a health coach, and through the Wise Traditions podcast that I host and produce on behalf of the Weston A. Price Foundation. I've learned so much from those experts. I've learned so much from Indigenous people and just people who know more than me all around the world that I want to share with you. These are things I wish I would have known 30 years ago, because again, I did okay, but I could be doing even better. And how do I know I wasn't optimal back in the day? I taught exercise classes, and part of the way through the classes, I would start to get shaky and sweaty. And it wasn't just because I was working to failure, which is a good thing. It's actually because I felt my blood sugar dip. And I would have to grab a power bar. This is what I thought back in the day. I was like, I guess I'm one of those people. I just need to keep grazing. No, I wasn't nourishing myself properly. If I had been, I wouldn't have been feeling the blood sugar roller coaster. And this is one thing I've learned because a dear friend of mine introduced me to the Weston A. Price Foundation. She had a lot of health issues herself, and she said, Hilda, I ran into this woman at a health fair who was glowing with health. She was older and she was just glowing with health. And she handed me her book and told me I might want to look at it. And that woman was Sally Fallon Morrell. So my friend took home Nourishing Traditions that day, and she started to tell me that it does matter what we fuel our bodies with. And I was like, of course. Why hadn't I thought of it before? And you might be like, of course, Hilda. I know. I listened to the Wise Traditions podcast. Get to the point. I'm getting there. But I'm just here to tell you that sometimes we think we know what it takes to be healthy. And there's something out there that could help us move the needle. So for me, movement was key, and I'm really glad. Did it keep me strong? Absolutely. Is it important to build muscle? 100%. So that is one thing I got right, and that is something I've seen around the world when I've traveled to Ethiopia, Mongolia. Traditional peoples often have movement incorporated as part and parcel of their day. There were women living along the Omo River in Ethiopia, indigenous women from the Karo tribe and the Dasanach tribe and other tribes, and they would go down to the river to get water, carry it back to their people on their head, and come back. And they would do this trip several times a day. It took miles, and they did it. So they had movement as part and parcel of their day, like I was saying, and we need to be intentional about it. So I start my day with walking. I do work out, but here's one of the things I wish I knew 30 years ago that I didn't know. And it's the power of natural light to help us heal and to function well in every bit of our being. So I had some of the puzzle pieces right. Movement is critical, yes. Once I understood that it's important to get nutrient density and eat food that nourishes you deeply and doesn't just fill your stomach, that started to help me rise as well. So what I mean is get the most bang for your buck. It's not about the all-you-can-eat buffet for $6.99. If it's that cheap, it means the food is probably not well sourced and it's full of seed oils. It's from concentrated animal feeding operations, the meat, and so that means the animals were stressed, and you're taking in all the growth hormones and everything they injected those animals with into your body. So you want to stay away from CAFOs, you want to stay away from seed oils. I didn't know this at first. I did look for nutrient density, which is good, so I looked for more meat and fat. I drank more bone broth. I started incorporating organ meats into my diet, like liver. Do you know that liver has B vitamins that are so important for mood? You can get this from muscle meats as well, but it's especially present, and iron and all these other nutrients are present in liver. As a matter of fact, all of the organ meats are richer in nutrients. This is why Dr. Price noted in his travels that indigenous people would go for the organ meats first, and they would give the muscle meat to the dogs. I'm talking about the people in Alaska, for example, that he saw. Can you imagine? So yes, we need to move, seek out nutrient-dense foods, but there's so much more. There's so much more. And this is why I was alluding to the power of natural light. As a health coach, I would go in and out of my house all day long, but I hardly spent any time in nature, any time getting the natural sunlight. I taught exercise classes under fluorescent lights in churches and gyms. I spent most of my day inside prepping meals for my family and this and that, and I just really didn't know that the sun has nutrient density too. And in effect, we are light eaters. This is what Dewey Lehman said on the Wise Traditions podcast. I've talked to Jack Cruz, Thaddeus Owen. They all say we need that natural light. This is why it's best to eat meat that comes from animals raised on pasture. They're getting the light. They're transforming the light and the grass that they're eating into nutrients for us. Same goes with the produce. You don't want to have food that hasn't gotten natural light. It needs the natural light for that spectacular nutrient density that you're looking for. Of course, you're going to get it more from animal products than from the vegetables and so forth. But still, you want food that has gotten light. And so you yourself can avoid the middleman and get that light. And especially the early morning light. Jack Cruz and Thaddeus Owen were the first ones to introduce me to this. This is one reason I say sunrise before screen rise, because it's really important to get that natural light in your eyes. It's better than a cup of coffee. It wakes you up. Your suprachiasmatic nucleus absorbs that information. It sends the time of day information and that light information to every cell in the body. And every cell in the body has a clock. So when you're synced up to nature's rhythms, your hormones function better, your mood is improved, you sleep better, your metabolism is better, you have more energy. All of these things happen when you get outside within 30 to 45 minutes of sunrise. This is one of those things I wish I knew. So I didn't know much about nutrient density. I didn't know much about the power of the sun. I didn't know much about cold. You might have seen some videos of me where I'm like plunging in ice baths and jumping into icy waters, lakes in Wisconsin. There's a reason for that. I'm not just trying to get likes or views. Goodness no. I got introduced to this before I was much of an influencer at all. But I realized from experiencing it actually, but also from my friends who are further down the road than me, friends like Bob Soulier, Thaddeus Owen, and so forth, I learned that the cold serves as a stimulant for mitochondria. So all of the cells in your body have these little engines, which are mitochondria, and they can get flabby and out of shape just like your muscles can. But when they get stimulated, when they get kind of shocked a little bit, out of a comfortable zone into a discomfort, I would say, then they kind of like, okay, we got to be on alert here, right? And so when your body gets cold, it lengthens the telomeres in your cells, so it lengthens your life. It helps your body burn visceral fat and build brown fat, so you stay warmer more easily when you're in the cold, and you get all of these benefits. Included are improved cognitive function and more resilience, better circulation, all the things. So I learned about what I like to call shivers and sustenance and sun and sleep. I was a health coach and I shortchanged myself on this. I didn't realize that sleep is like nature's detox system, and that by getting sufficient sleep, I was letting my body take out the cellular trash, and I would be able to think more clearly and respond more graciously to my children or the demands of the day. And instead, I would sometimes have a short fuse, because you know how it is when you're tired, you're cranky, you're hangry, as they say. That also comes from not being nourished well, like all of these things. So though I was a fitness instructor, I really wish I'd known more about the sun, about the power of cold, more about true nourishment, and more about spirit pieces. Now, I am a Christian, and that's always helped me. It builds me resilience emotionally and spiritually so that I can handle the circumstances around me, knowing that God has everything under control and that He has a good plan for me. So that's helpful. But I also didn't realize how important it was to do things that make your soul shine. That's how I like to put it. So yes, pray, offer gratitude, but do things that bring you joy just for the pleasure of it. Play the guitar, sing, dance. On days when you feel most stressed, shake it off, jump up and down. This is what the Maasai do. Like, there are amazing, amazing things we can do. And I'm sharing these with you because I want you to embrace some of these habits now. And while it might seem like a lot, I do have a course where I can take you step by step through how do you actually apply these, incorporate some of these hacks into your life. It's actually called the 6 Ancestral Secrets Health for the Long Haul course. And because you're on here right now, I would love to offer you a special deal. And I do believe on my website, if you go and just click on course, you will see that there is a discounted price for the course. And if you want more accountability, I'm happy to connect with you at the start of the course so we can talk about what your goals are, where you are now, and where you'd like to be. And at the end of the course so we can see what progress you've made. I'm a people person and I want to get to know you. That's why I'm glad you're here right now for this live. So I don't want to take all the time, but I just want to tell you some of the things I wish I knew are things that have been invaluable and are helping me invest in generational health. So I'm not just healthy for me right now, I'm healthy for me tomorrow, I'm healthy for my children and my children's children, right? So wouldn't you like to invest in generational health? Generational wealth is okay, but money can't buy you everything. You probably know that by now. So my hope is that you will go from feeling okay to great to optimal to incredible. And what I hear all the time is like, you're how old? Like, I want that for you. That is the kind of health where health is kind of a second thought. You're feeling so fine, no aches and pains, no fatigue, that you're like, hey, I have health for the long haul. That's what I desire for you. So I'm going to put on my little glasses here. I still can do some work on my vision, but I want to see if any of you have any questions. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Amy. It's good to see you, Lola. Thank you guys so much. You know, every day I do pray that my being would be filled with God's light and love. I really think that goes really far too. And I've alluded to it already, but that goes really far too in living your healthiest and best life, because the people I've met around the world are content where they are. And if you're feeling kind of dissatisfied and grumbly or discontent, that affects your body too. So there's so much I want to share with you, and this live is not going to be long enough, I don't think, to share with you all the things I want to share. So please, please, please consider investing in your generational health. If you're like, where do I start, Hilda? These are the things I talk about in my course, honestly. I mean, I give tips, of course, on social media and even in my holistic hub, which I have on Instagram. If you want to join me there, that's great. But if you want some more accountability and hand-holding, this is a course you could even take with your family. So it's not just you. You could do it together as a homeschool curriculum for all I care, but it's going to hit on the 6 ancestral secrets, which are sun, shivers, sustenance, sleep, strength, and spirit. And I walk with you to understand the science behind why these are good for you, how indigenous people apply them to their lives, and how you can too. And I give you some resources for that, some of my favorite ones. So if there aren't any questions, I might have to cut out here. Let me see. Hey, Jamie. Oh my gosh, you are so welcome. I love you all so much. Oh, and that reminds me, a quick invitation. I'm going to be in 2 cool places this September. I'm going to be at White Oak Pastures with Will Harris. Yes, I scooped Joe Rogan. I interviewed Will years before Joe ever did. He's the most amazing regenerative farmer at White Oak Pastures in Bluffton, Georgia. I will be there in September around the 12th and 13th. I would love to see you there. The 14th, there's going to be a VIP dinner with me and Will and some other friends. So that'd be great if you're near Georgia. If you're not, I'm going to be in Vermont like the weekend of September 22nd or so at Meadowsby Farm. So if you want more information, go to my website, holistichilda.com. But nothing makes me happier than connecting with people in person. So I hope I will see you in Georgia or in Vermont. And if neither of those work for you, I will be in Utah in October at the Wise Traditions Conference. Know that I am rooting for you wherever you are. I'm sending you all of my love. Remember that just feeling okay isn't good enough. I really want the best for you, optimal health. So invest in generational health for you and your family, and know that I'm here for you. I'll be looking at these comments later. So yeah, pepper me with questions. I'll try to get on there later and give you all of my thoughts and advice, but just know that I'm here for you. Check out my course, check out my events on my website, and I wish you all the best. You know what I always say, keep your feet on the ground and your face to the sun. Much love, and thanks for joining me today. Bye now.